Rumi awoke at 3 in the morning to the eerie sound of a child's laughter. She couldn't believe it. She thought she had been entirely alone in this Airbnb she had rented. She waited for a moment, and once more, she heard the giggles of a little girl and the faint patter of what felt like tiny feet racing across the floor. She got out of her bed, sweat trickling down her forehead, determined to explore. Earlier that week, Rumi had discovered this exquisite Airbnb in Goa. Her company covered the cost, and she believed it was the perfect place to stay during her work weekend. It was a sprawling 6-bedroom independent house, secluded from the city's hustle and bustle, and she couldn't believe her luck. Now awake at 3 a.m., listening to the giggles of a child echoing through the hallways, she began to doubt her initial impressions. Rumi flicked on the lights, but to her dismay, they flickered out. Fear took hold of her as the laughter continued. Just my luck, she thought, trying to shake off the enveloping sense of dread. She used her phone's light and cautiously left her bedroom, following the sound of the child's laughter. It led her to the first floor, her heart pounding with every step. Upon entering the room from which the laughter emanated, it was evident the child was now in fits of uncontrollable glee. "Come out!" she commanded. But the child's laughter persisted. She swept her phone's flashlight around, and to her astonishment, the giggles seemed to be emanating from a cupboard in the room. She gingerly opened it, her heart gripped by fear. Inside, she discovered a little girl, disheveled and soiled, laughing manically. Rumi was overcome with a terror she couldn't fathom. "Who are you, child? Come out, child!" she implored over the child's laughter. The girl locked eyes with Rumi, continuing to laugh and pointing behind her. The child looked utterly unhinged, and Rumi hesitated to turn around. Slowly, she mustered the courage to see what the child was indicating. What she saw chilled her to the core. Behind her stood a woman, her hair a wild tangle, eyes glowing crimson, skin peeling, and the stench of decay permeating the air. She moved across the room like a wounded creature, her clothes in tatters. Rumi gaped at this nightmarish figure in shock. Before she could react, the spectral woman lunged at her. What followed was a horrifying ordeal. The ghostly woman seized Rumi, sinking her monstrous teeth into her flesh, pinning her to the floor, and rendering her unconscious. Over the next hour, the ghostly apparition slowly consumed Rumi, the chilling soundtrack accompanied by the little girl's maniacal laughter echoing from the cupboard. The next morning, when the Airbnb helper arrived, he found no sign or sound of Rumi in the house. The sheets were neatly arranged, and the house was in impeccable order. "Must have left early," he mused, checking the Airbnb app. It showed that she had already checked out, and upon leaving had awarded the Airbnb a glowing 5-star review. Though Rumi was never seen again, the Airbnb boasted a stellar review, and it seemed another couple had booked it over the weekend. In a quiet corner of Goa, a weathered Portuguese house stood stoically by the ocean. Inside, a young man named Arnav found himself trapped in an unsettling nightly routine. At precisely 3 a.m., The winds would howl outside, and Arnav's alarm clock would ring randomly, startling him awake. Each time he'd hear a woman's haunting voice singing from the balcony. He'd rush to see her, but there was nothing to see, only the moonlit night. For a week, this eerie ritual repeated. The woman's voice called his name, a ghostly whisper. On the seventh night, driven by an eerie compulsion, Arnav confronted the unseen singer. He approached the balcony and found her standing at the ocean's edge. She was strikingly beautiful, her dark hair flowing like a shroud. "Come to me," she sang. Arnav, as if in a trance, walked towards her. Something felt wrong, but he couldn't resist her pull. She whispered sweet words, her voice like a haunting melody. Arnav, under her enchantment, followed her to the ocean's edge. As he stepped into the water, a sense of dread overcame him. But it was too late. The sea pulled him under. Panic gripped him as he tried to swim up. But his limbs refused. Darkness enveloped him, and he sank deeper. In his final moments, he gazed up at the moonlit surface. There he saw her, the woman's beautiful face, twisted into a wicked grin, a shadow against the pale moonlight. She had used him, and he was lost to the ocean's depths. As the sea claimed him, Arnav's last breath vanished into the relentless waves. The woman's haunting melody echoed into the abyss. Another chilling chapter was added to the tale of the Portuguese house by the Goan shore. In the depths of his lonely existence, Brian found solace in the celluloid world of James Cameron's Titanic. The epic love story had ensnared him since his childhood in 1996, and now, as a 36-year-old bachelor residing in his new apartment, he clung to the fantasy of the romance he had witnessed on the silver screen. One fateful evening, he brought a date home, their hearts entwined by the allure of Titanic's ill-fated voyage. She too became entranced by the film, and Brian reveled in the connection they shared. As the night waned and she departed, an eerie voice, resonating from the shadows, shattered the silence. A twisted rendition of Celine Dion's haunting Titanic ballad echoed through the empty rooms. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. Unease prickled at his skin, urging him to investigate. But the spectre had vanished into the night. The following night, the haunting voice returned, its sinister tone piercing through the walls, relentless in its pursuit. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. Brian's bones turned to ice as he braved the darkened corridors, desperately seeking the source of the voice. Yet as he searched, his sanity teetered on the precipice of collapse. The haunting melody continued its serenade, drifting from different corners of the house, an intangible presence that mocked his fraying mind. In a moment of respite, while seeking solace beneath the cascading water of his shower, the haunting voice crept into his sanctuary once more. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. His skin crawled with dread, and he hastily shut off the shower, intending to flee to the safety of the outside world. But the water persisted, icy tendrils descending from the showerhead, seizing him in his chilling grip. With each failed attempt to halt the relentless cascade, Brian's panic swelled. To his horror, he discovered the drains had clogged, transforming the bathroom into a watery abyss. Desperation propelled him towards the door, his trembling hands grasping for escape, only to find it sealed shut. The frigid water surged, engulfing his waist as the haunting melody intensified. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. The flickering lights cast an eerie glow, illuminating a figure emerging from the depths of the water. A woman with straggly hair and a shroud of seaweed adorning her. Her voice, a twisted lullaby, resonated through the drowning chamber as she sang. Every night in my dreams, I see you, I feel you. Brian's screams dissolved into gurgles as the water clawed its way to his throat, silencing him forever. The haunting serenade continued its ethereal chorus, echoing in the distance as the water crept towards the ceilings. Lifeless, he floated in the watery tomb until all that remained was the mournful echo of a love story turned nightmare. Within the vast expanse of the zoo, John, the compassionate zookeeper, shared a profound connection with Daisy, a chimpanzee he had nurtured from infancy to remarkable maturity. Their bond, an extraordinary tapestry woven over years, transcended the boundaries of duty, evolving into a deep and almost familial love. As they embarked on the daily routine of cleaning the shared habitat, a sudden assault shattered the tranquility. A neighboring chimp, eyes gleaming, seized John from behind. Panic seized him as the once trusted primates revealed their orchestrated uprising. The zookeepers raced to the scene, only to be confronted with a nightmarish scene. The once docile chimps, driven by a frenzied madness, tore John limb from limb. The air thickened with the scent of blood and the echoes of a savage betrayal. In the ensuing days, the nightmare deepened. The chimps not only killed John, but indulged in a gruesome feast upon his remains. A chilling metamorphosis consumed them, forming an impenetrable barrier that denied entry to anyone who approached the now desolate enclosure. As the week unfolded, an ominous silence settled over the zoo. The primate exhibit, once teeming with life, now whispered of unspeakable horrors. And then, on a chilling morning, Daisy, the once beloved chimpanzee, went about her cleaning duties. Human bones were flung out, and as horrified onlookers watched, Daisy sat within, cradling John's skull in her blood-stained hands. The bond that had once radiated warmth and companionship had morphed into a harrowing tale of betrayal and primal vengeance.